Hi everyone, welcome back to Hope and Coffee, where we are on a roll with talking about terrible dates. And we are revisiting those terrible dates with continuing the saga of more bad dates. Now, I've had a couple bad dates myself. Some have seemed to have gone really well, and then I get ghosted afterwards. And so I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that the date goes really well and we seem to have a pretty good connection. We seem to have, nobody seems to end the date too quickly. Nobody seems to try to rush off. I've never had anyone vanish in the middle of dinner, which if they had, I don't mind paying, it's fine. Just let me know you're not having a good time. That's okay. But I've never had anybody, ghost me in the middle of dinner. I've never had anybody, trying to think. I guess that's really it. I guess I've had people not show up. That's a thing that's happened. But I've gone on dates where it feels like they've gone really well, and the conversation seems to be going pretty well. And maybe after we've departed from each other, the text messages afterwards, or I had one guy who he was like, I don't think we get along. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really notice that in person. I was like, okay, sure. So I don't really know what his thinking was, because I thought the day had gone really well, but it was fine. We had been talking about maybe going to trivia that was hosted by a drag queen, and I thought that sounded so awesome, because I was like, where in Huntsville is that? That sounds so great. However, never got to find out, because he ended up saying he didn't think we were compatible. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. That, at least he told me that, and I was like, okay. But I was just very confused, because he didn't really give me I was just like, okay, sure. Because we had already been talking about going to trivia together or something. And I've had guys who text me day of, and they flake out on the date. Either they get sick or something. I had two different guys do that within a week of each other, actually. I was like, is there a stomach virus going around? Because how in the world do you guys, two different guys from two different situations, get a stomach virus the day of your date? So they didn't want to go on the dates. But I don't know, I never ended up I think I did end up meeting up with one of them. He seemed like a pretty cool guy, but I don't know, maybe he was just more of a player. Maybe he was just more of I don't know, maybe I guess I'll just call him a free spirit. I don't really know. He seemed like he would have been a cool guy to get to know. But anyway, what else? Like I said, I feel like I've gone on some dates that I thought were successful, but then I never heard from the person again. So not sure what's going on with that. I don't have any feedback. Maybe I need a feedback card that's tell me how I can do better. I don't know. I would just love to know. I would really love to know, what's going on. Maybe I do ramble too much, but we're going to dive into these bad dates. He was complaining, saying, and I quote, "I have to live with my mom because all three of my baby mamas insist that I pay child support." Yeah. If these women didn't insist on child support, I would be able to move out, and I have to put dinner on my credit card because I'm always broke. I paid for my own meal, by the way, which I don't mind doing. I always insist on doing that on the first day so they don't think I owe them anything in return. But he had to pay his $12 Denny meal, yes, he insisted on Denny's, on a credit card. Well, Miss Pterodactyl 1978 sounds like he's a man-child who has put his bits in places where he shouldn't have put them already. And you don't need that sort of level of drama in your life, because it sounds like you would have been supporting him should you have actually liked the guy. So the fact that you're not having to deal with his child support situation is good for you. You don't have to deal with that. that's on him to have to figure it out, because maybe he'll figure out what causes children in the future, so maybe he can prevent that. So maybe he won't have to pay any more child support for more children. Because, yeah, those baby mamas, like, they deserve to have some support for the children he has helped create. And he should figure out the cause of that. That's on him. Yeah. So the man child that lives with his mother needs to get himself together, figure it out. And I'm so glad you paid for your own meal, so you didn't feel that you owed him anything, and he didn't feel like he was owed anything. Hey, you know what? Denny's is there is not a place that someone could take me that I would be like, ugh, why would you take me here? I would love to go to Waffle House. There's one down the street. Love it. Dunkin' Donuts, fine. I don't even like their donuts, but let's go. Like, I don't care. It's not about that. It's about the conversation and being able to connect with the other person for me. Heck, we can go sit in the park. Just let me bring some coffee. I just, like, let me bring my iced coffee. Let me grab an iced coffee on the way. Let me grab some sort of hydration. So I got me some, like, walking beverage. We can go walk around the, well, no, I don't want to go walk around the Montesano State Park, because there's not people. It's not too people-y, especially for a first date. Like, I need some people around. That's like my only thing is on a first date. I would like there to be some extra people, just for safety, security. I feel like that's valid. I feel like wanting to have at least some level of public around should things not go great. I think feel like that's fine. I do like to take my own car on the first date, especially if I don't know them too well. I don't really like them to kind of know where I live. Like, I don't mind if they know where the complex is. I just don't want them to know the apartment number. Should it not work out. And I did have that issue where I was getting an oil change, and I got hit on by the front desk manager. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I was feeling pretty good that day. Decided, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. That's fine. Well, I let him come pick me up, which I guess, I guess it was fine. I didn't feel unsafe at first. Yeah, I know. But as the date progressed, like, he came and picked me up. I didn't tell him which apartment number. I just met him outside. And I got into his car, but he still lived with his mom, and he had his child, and it sounded like he had been kind of a party guy for a while. Our conversation wasn't super great, so I felt like I was kind of holding up the whole conversation, trying to find bits and pieces that we could talk about along the way. And he just kind of kept staring at me a whole bunch, and I couldn't really figure that out. I don't know if maybe he just thought I was cute, and I'm like, yay, okay, great. But I just felt kind of uncomfortable. And then after we had, like, dinner, which we went to a burger joint, and the burgers were fine. They were good, but they weren't, like, the best burgers I've ever had. But the fries were really good. We went and got a drink. And I think he was a little more kind of, like, touchy, like, feely on me. And I was just kind of, like, trying to be... I was like, I'm not feeling that. So trying to be just a little bit more like, hey, boundaries. And ultimately, on the way back to, like, drop me off, because I was ready to go home now, or, like, at that particular point, he wanted to walk me up, and I had asked him not to. I said, no, thank you. I feel like this was enough. And I think he had tried to text me a little bit, but he had also, like, tried to, like, race his car, and I'm like, am I supposed to be wowed by this? Like, what is that supposed to do for me? That's when I started to kind of feel unsafe. It's like, this is why I don't like to ride with other people. It's like, I used to do, like, kind of, like, I used to drive kind of fast when I was younger, but I feel like as a mature adult, like, I'm gonna get there when I get there, and, like, you're just taking me home, so there's no reason to, like, squeal tires when there's no point. Like, it's not impressive. So, but anyway, that was that date, and that was not the greatest date either. I didn't see him again after that. I think I ended up having to block him because he kept trying to get me to let him come over to cuddle, and I'm like, no thank you. I don't I don't feel comfortable with you coming over, plus I don't really want to cuddle with you. Like, I don't feel like that's where, like, we were never close to that situation. Why do you feel? He's like, I just need some comfort. I'm like, okay, good for you, good luck. Like, I don't I don't have that for you. That's not coming from me. But next story. Let's dive into the next story. He wouldn't stop talking about getting laid. He even said how most women sleep with him on the first date. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but this guy really seemed full of himself to the point where it was a major turnoff. Ew. Yeah, if you can just get it from anywhere, just go. Go get it from somewhere else, because you're not getting it from here. He really liked it when I told him I gave him a quote-unquote fake number, Google Voice, and he said he not only knew, but wouldn't tell me how because I gave someone like him a fake number. What? We paid our bill, went to the restroom, and I dipped out. He didn't see me pull in when I arrived, so imagine my surprise when he pulled up beside me at a light and started shouting at me from his car. I've been using a Google Voice number for online dating for years. I always tell guys, and he's the only one who wasn't respectful, that I was trying to be safe. So there are, of course, I think it's like VoIP phone numbers, VoIP, voice over IP, and you can absolutely get those sorts of numbers, or, use the Google Voice numbers, like, to be able to do phone calls. And it does mask your phone number so they can't actually get your cell phone number. So, I mean, good for this person for being smart enough to do that. And this was DNM 8686. So good for them for being smart enough to do that, because if you're going to be out there in the dating world, you're going to have to protect yourself somehow. I don't know how many people I've had to block because they have sent me so many sketchy, so much sketchy content. It's absolutely ridiculous. I have stopped using Snapchat because people are just so disrespectful. I've had so many scammer profiles try to reach out to me on Instagram, and they always want you to use Telegram, Signal, or WhatsApp. So if you ever have somebody you don't know reach out to you on Instagram or Facebook and they ask you to use one of those messaging apps, go ahead and be a little cautious, because that's sometimes where the scam kind of starts. Sometimes using a VoIP number can be scammy, but it's not a fake number. It just is a voice over an IP. It is a computer-generated number. It does mask a real phone, like, it masks their real phone. So it'll still come to their phone. It's just not coming through their phone number. Some people just do it that way. So I applaud this person for, like, thinking that, because this person sounds like a real winner. Absolutely top notch. So glad women love to sleep with him on the first date. That's gross. I hope they get a little bit more respect for themselves, because it sounds like this guy is the worst. Maybe not the worst of the bunch that we've kind of worked through, but definitely. My dog just kind of had a hairball. He just kind of made a whole little hairball noise, if you may have caught that. But, yeah. So good luck, or good for her for getting out of that. That dude sounds terrible. Again, so glad that him getting laid by all the women he meets is, like, what happens. He can go out and find some more. That's fine. It's just not coming from that girl. And I'm so glad that she has some intelligence to figure out a few ways to protect herself, because that's just what we females have to do. An Instagram person reached out to me today, and I know they reached out to me, and I'm 100% certain they were a scam. I know they were a scam profile. They probably had like 4 pictures on their profile. They didn't look real. Or they looked real, but their pictures didn't look like newish. I don't know. It was reeking very much of scammer profile. And they reached out to me and they were just like, hey, what's going on? And my profile is private. So I'm like, yes, can I help you? And they're like, hey, so yeah, I'm just reaching out because I like to make friends. And I'm like, no, my profile is private. So how do you even know? He's like, well, you're gorgeous. And I'm like, you can't see me except for my profile picture. So you don't actually know what I look like. And he's like, well, I just want to get to know you. I do this and I do this. And I'm like, okay, great. He's like, yeah, and my wife died from breast cancer and I have a 14-year-old daughter. I'm like, dude, you have been texting me for 3 minutes? I don't buy into sob stories like that. That's what scammers do. Thank you, move along. And then he was like, well, do you have Telegram? I was like, nope. And he's like, do you have Signal? Nope. He's like, well, download Telegram and message me on that. I was like, absolutely not. Thank you, but no. And so just know that those kinds of people who come at you and who may try to reach out to you in those sorts of ways are almost 100% going to be scam-like profiles, because ultimately they're trying to get you to buy into some sort of sob story. They're trying to get you emotionally invested into them in some way. And then they're going to try to get you off of that platform onto another platform where they can try to manipulate you even more. And that's just what their MO is. That is how they operate. And I have been watching Scamfish, which is social catfishing. It's a YouTube video or YouTube channel that is brilliant when it comes to romance scams. Love them so much. But they are amazing. Them and Trilogy Media are amazing with hunting these people down, but I will tell you almost 100% of the time, okay, like 99% of the time, they're coming out of Lagos, Nigeria. And so a lot of those VoIP phone numbers, a lot of those fake profiles, those sorts of things, people who reach out and then they build that sort of sob story and sort of thing, they're coming out of those sorts of areas. And I just would love if people stop falling for it. That would be amazing if we can get less people to fall for these scammy sob stories. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up. I will talk to you guys later. I will see you guys on the next page. We're going to have probably edition number 4 coming up soon. I don't know how frequently I'm going to drop these episodes. Maybe 2, maybe 3 a week. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. And if you have your own story, please email me at the email that I'm going to put on the last, final card. And tell me your story. So then maybe I can read it to everyone and we can provide some commentary for you. But anyway, thank you. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Boop.